Hi everyone, it's the EnglishSimmer here, and if you know anything about me, you will know that I absolutely love a tier ranking video. I absolutely love consuming them, I love recording them, I like editing them. Everything about these videos I enjoy. So I thought, why not wrap up my current save file in The Sims 4, or one of them at least, which I'm actually streaming over on my Twitch, twitch.tv/EnglishSimmer, and that is the All Collections Challenge, where basically I am trying to use a family to create every single collection within the game. I'm having so much fun with it. I recorded a video last weekend to celebrate Easter, which was basically my sim trying to beat the Decorative Egg collection. And I've done a tier ranking video about hobbies in The Sims 4, so I thought, why not do a tier ranking of collections within the game? I think they deserve some respect on their name. So these are the images that I've chosen. Don't worry, I am going to give a cheeky little explanation to all of them because I feel like sometimes my brain works in weird ways, and I wanted them all to be like Sims 4 images, but then there were some that just like didn't relate. Aliens are basically a little collection that you can get. I think you can get like 10 of them within The Sims 4, and you get them from either being in the astronaut career, which is hands down definitely one of my favorite base game careers, or if you have a rocket on your home lot, so you don't even need to be in the astronaut to do this. You could be in the scientist career from get to work. You could just have a rocket ship and the rocket science skill, which I think is great. I don't think it's like super imprinted in my brain, okay, calm down Jacob Black, as being motherload, but it is definitely up there. Next up, we have this image, which I genuinely have no idea what this is actually meant to be. But for me, this stands for Batu Records, which honestly, if they were like vinyl records of tracks from like Star Wars, I would be all over. I'd be like straight to motherload, but alas, they are not. They're very forgettable, not gonna lie. I had to ask my Twitch chat what Batu Records were. And it's basically when you visit Batu, you can like inspect certain elements, like for example, the X-Wing, and then you get a little bit of lore behind it. But we all know how I feel about Journey to Batu in general. It's definitely not the strongest pack. The theming was atrocious in my eyes. So the Batu Records are my first entry into Tragic Clown. But we have Buried Treasure. So this is part of Island Living. I will say it with my whole chest. I love Island Living. Okay, so I love the world more than I love the actual pack. Don't get me wrong, I definitely feel like there were certain elements of that pack that were undercooked, underfinished. I've been playing with the More Mermaids mod recently, and oh my word, the shift that gives you. I think Sulani is one of the most interactive worlds that we have. I love going swimming. I love being able to go to the beaches. I absolutely love being able to hunt for treasures or seashells on the beach. If you've never done a rags to riches or like that type of like legacy maybe where you start from nothing and you have to build up money and all of that, I started my short lifespan legacy in Sulani and it carried me for like the first 3 generations. I love the storytelling. They are gonna go into Rosebud. This one is ridiculous. I could not find anything that kind of represented a poster. These are the city posters from City Living, which you can basically find out and about in San Myshuno. I will hold my hands up and say I feel like these little buggers have not been spawning for me anywhere. I really like the posters themselves. I genuinely did not realize that there was as many as there was. I don't think I've ever found more than potentially like 4 or 5, even in my City Living Let's Play. Sometimes they just don't spawn. They're really hard to come by, I feel. So whilst I really like the design, I feel like the limitations of them spawning is gonna put them into Grim Reaper. I'm sorry. Crystals, absolutely love them. Straight up into Motherload for me. They are one of the best collections, hands down, that we have in The Sims 4. I think they're so fun. They're kind of easy to come by, which is quite nice. But what I love about crystals is the like many different things that you can do with them. Obviously, if you have Get to Work, they're really helpful to have in the science career, because then you can get like the analysis table and then you can send them away, or you can analyze them yourself to find out which elements they have in them, which also helps with a future collection. I love my Sims being crystal cursed. girlies. I absolutely will buy that silly looking helmet from Get Famous, and I will proceed to put crystals in there to change their moods. I am a crystal person defender. If you collect crystals and that's what brings you joy in life, I am absolutely standing in your corner, and I will listen to you talk about your crystals at any given opportunity. Yell at me about your hobbies. It's one of my favorite things about human beings. You could actually have your own like crystal growing farm in The Sims 3, which I kind of wish you could have in The Sims 4. You had a gem cutter in Supernatural, I'm fairly sure that it was. I clearly have not paid enough attention to crystals because they actually go to the jungle adventure table to then refine it. Crystals are truly the gift that keep on giving in The Sims 4. Then we have the Decorative Egg collection. Obviously, I have said that I made a video on this. There are 12 of them to collect. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched last week's video, I did actually manage to finish the collection in a day, which, not gonna lie, it kind of takes my fun out of it a little bit because it does just feel a little bit too easy. The decorative eggs purely are just decorative. I don't think a lot of people realize that you can still do this without this challenge, like the spring challenge with Jasmine Holiday actually being accessible within our game anymore. It was a thing back in like 2016 or something. But if you have seasons, you can actually throw a holiday, like you could do like egg hunt day. Make sure that you choose the egg hunt tradition on your holiday calendar, and then your Sims will be able to go like look in plants for eggs. They'll be able to look in like kitchen counters. They're nice to look at. They're pretty average though, so they're gonna be slotted right into crumple bottom elements. I don't even have to think. Tragic clown. You know how I said that collections absolutely carried the Sims 4 base game for me? These little feckers are the worst. I'm fairly sure they're all made up elements. I don't know, even real life elements sound made up to me. I was not good at chemistry. I did not know the periodic table. My chemistry teacher was an absolute bitch, so therefore I just clocked out of chemistry. But trying to find these is hell on earth. You might be a better person than me, you might have a bigger, more wrinkly brain than me, and therefore you can kind of understand what crystal is maybe gonna give you what element you want. I just always have the hardest time trying to finish this collection. Like, I'm fairly sure in my save right now there are these two that I just cannot find, and it's so annoying. I love this little like table. I actually kind of wish we had more of these, more display racks for the collections that you can get. I know there's one for the Day of the Dead collection. The feathers collection. These actually appeared with cats and dogs. I find most of my feathers through dogs, which I find a little bit weird because I was running on the assumption, you know, that cats attack birds. Sometimes my cat used to just bring me a dead bird that she definitely hadn't killed because she was the least agile cat in existence. She was so snobby, she would have never done the hard work for herself. She would have just picked up someone's leftovers and then been like, yeah, this is mine, and try and pass it off as her own. I really actually love the way that feathers look. Someone said this is the coolest collection, which I truly agree with. Once you've got maybe like 5 of each feather, you can build like this owl decorative item, which is a nice little thing that you get for completing it, which a couple of these you sometimes get plaques for completing them. For the decorative eggs, you get access to one of, you know, the big bunnies that kids can talk to. I will say they're pretty difficult to find. Like, some of them feel as if they're super rare. They're very tedious because you kind of just have to send your dog out to try and find them. They are gonna go into Rosebud. Fishing, motherload. No doubt about it. New fish are added in a lot of different packs. You have to actually like travel around to finish the fishing collection. This is actually the most consistent that we've seen a collection in The Sims 4. I absolutely love fishing as a hobby. I love the fact that you can actually choose to bowl or put them in a pond if you have cottage living, or you can also just mount them on your wall if you want to as like a prized possession. This stands for the food prints, which came with Dine Out. Again, I'm fairly sure these are pretty easy to come by. All you actually really have to do is download a restaurant and then hope and pray that that restaurant restaurant actually works and your sim actually receives their food, and order the rare like alien looking plates from it and then take photo of them, and then you'll start to gain this collection. It's been a very long time since I played with these, so don't quote everything that I'm saying as being like truly legitimate. Therefore, they're going in Grim Reaper. I feel like they're a little bit forgettable, they're easy to come by, they don't really feel like a challenge, and I quite like a challenge. Next up, we have fossils. They are the most annoying collection that you can get from the rocks that are like sporadically generating. Even if you are in the scientist career, it is so hard to come by fossils. I'm fairly sure if you have the little archaeology table in Jungle Adventure, you can like sort these fossils and like analyze them yourselves. You don't actually have to send them off for analysis. I really like them. They are a pain in the arse though, so therefore they are only gonna go in Crumple Bottom. Once again, another pain in my arse, but I was gonna say a pain I quite enjoy, so take that out of context. This might just be me being a big old gay and yelling about my love of frogs, but I absolutely love this collection. The only gripe that I have with frogs as a collection is their ugly little tanks. I so wish that you could just buy a really big, what do they call it? Like the habitat for frogs. I don't know, a tank. When I have my own place, you absolutely believe I'm gonna get myself a cute little like tree frog or something like that. One, I wish they had different types of frogs. Like I know they have different patterns on them, but they're basically all the same frog. I wish you could actually have them as like pets that you had to look after. So therefore it's going in Rosebud. Honestly, if all of those things were true, it would be in Motherlode. Gardening, once again, same way as fishing, it is top tier. It is one of my most fun hobbies. The only thing that would potentially bring it down to maybe even a tragic clown is currently the glitch that has been going on for 550 years. That is your plants reverting back to nothingness. I know you can shift click them and you can set their life stage growth to like blossoming and that brings them back, but the next day they just revert anyway. For all the times that gardening has been looked at and played with and reintroduced into the game, you would think that it would be flawless. There's still a lot that I would want to see when it comes to gardening, which I honestly might do a full dedicated video on. Geodes. These are actually only part of Get to Work, I think, which I find weird. I find it weird that you can have like crystals, you can have metals, you can have fossils in base game, but geodes are only Get to Work. Most of them, if not all of them, are available only on 6M. Geodes can be found on the alien world, so once again, I will happily hold my hands up and say, as you can tell, I haven't even started trying to acquire these yet. I haven't got the portal that allows you to go to 6M. I do quite like the difficulty of that. I feel like it's something that you truly do have to want to get your hands on and like actually put in the effort to do so. But considering there's only 6 of them, and I honestly can't really remember what they look like, so therefore they're gonna go bang average. The holiday crackers, which I'm fairly sure are only available if you downloaded free DLC thing. I don't know if you can still get your hands on it to this day, but basically you can purchase holiday crackers online and then they pull them and you can get little toys from them. Oh, so these are the little plushies. I have to say, these are gonna be hell on earth to find. Usually when my sim pulls a cracker, they'll just get like a sweet or something. The fact that I couldn't even really remember what these were, I don't think they're bad enough to be in Tragic Clown, but I am gonna put them in Grim Reaper. They're honestly one of the most infuriating things about The Sims 4 for me, just because I feel like insects could be so much better. I talked about this when we got Cottage Living and we got those like spawners around the ponds, so you could have like dragonflies spawning, you could have those logs that had like frogs on them. I thought those were so cute, but I was like, you could truly go back to Outdoor Retreat, just introduce spawners into Outdoor Retreat for like all the Outdoor Retreat insects that are available, and then we'd be able to place those spawners down anywhere in our worlds, especially if you have tool mod, and then your sims would be able to find insects way more easily rather than having to go to Outdoor Retreat Granite Falls. I'm really not looking forward to looking for this collection. I really like the way they look. Again, I kind of wish you could change their their tank. Like for example, if you found like a cute little stick insect, I really wish that you could keep them as pets and like you fed them and they had a little bit of gameplay attached to them. So therefore, I don't think they're bad enough to go in Grim Reaper. I'm gonna put them in Crumple Bottom. Lizzo is making a feature in this video. There obviously wasn't any of these assets for a lightsaber. However, just pretend that this flute, pretend it represents a lightsaber. I could have definitely used another image here, but we won't talk about that. I actually really like the lightsaber parts. I know I'm not a massive fan of Batu. However, I absolutely love the fact that you can build your own lightsabers. That is something that I want to go to Disney specifically for. I want to search for kyber crystals. I want to search for the black kyber crystal. I've watched so many Disney vlogs based in Batu. I have my perfect lightsaber like all drawn up. I know exactly what pieces I want. So therefore, from a personal perspective, this is going in Rosebud. Magic items, obviously introduced in Realm of Magic. The only issue that I have with these is it literally includes everything. It includes the little like orbs that you can have for familiars, which familiars deserve more in The Sims 4. It also includes all the different brooms. They're all kind of joined together. I don't know why they didn't split them up into their own categories. Also, the brooms really annoy me because each broom is listed separately. So you have to have like different colors to fill the collection. Unless you're a spellcaster, this really isn't that interesting because it's basically just like a surprise bag opening and you travel to the magic realm, spend a lot of money and you can kind of fill this out. So therefore, it's going in Crumple Bottom. These are for the magic beans. I'm fairly sure you can still find magic beans once again without this actual activity and like event being within the game. I'm fairly sure in 2023 you can still create a plant sim. Don't get me wrong, plant sims deserve better. I constantly wish that they were an occult that is actually physically within the game. I do quite like finding the magic beans and putting them into the tree trunk and becoming a plant sim though. So therefore, I'm gonna put it in Rosebud. This is for Message in a Bottle. These obviously come with my wedding stories. We all know how, again, I feel about my wedding stories. I quite like the Message in a Bottles. I, again, feel like they kind of suffer with less spawning. So they're quite hard to come by. You basically have to go to the beach in the My Wedding Stories world and sort of just like hang around the beach area, the neighborhood, and wait for the piles of sand to spawn so that you can find these. They give you a little bit of lore, but they're not the most interesting things in the world to me. So therefore, I'm gonna put them in Crumple Bottom. I feel like they could be better. I kind of wish that they showed up on any beach and it weren't just for My Wedding Stories, but hey. Metals, they're boring. Like, genuinely, you just sent them to be identified and they're just like a lump of metal. Microscope Prints. Again, this is kind of a follow-on from gardening, which I really like. I love that gardening can then lead you to like taking samples and then looking at them on the microscope. How are you gonna call this object a microscope when it is one of the biggest objects that we have in The Sims 4? I was always on the side of Team Small Telescope. I'm also on the side of Team Small Microscope. I absolutely love the plant prints, but it's just so unusable. Like, who is gonna have a microscope that big on their lot? Love the collection, hate what you have to do to get the collection, so it's going in Grim Reaper. I quite like these. I like the story that they tell. I again love how they have their own like dedicated shelf and you can like sort them in order so that it tells you the story. I actually think a lot of time and energy went into the relics. I feel like whichever devs like helped with that were really feeling the Moonwood relics. And you can find these if you're not a werewolf, but they're really hard to come by. I just wish that they were a little bit easier for human sims to find, because then I feel like you could really tell the story of like a human who is obsessed with becoming a werewolf and like wants to find all of them. But obviously they're way easier to find if you're already a werewolf. So therefore, I think I'm gonna put them in Crumple Bottom. My Sims, this might be the rose tinted nostalgia. My Sims is hands down one of my favorite games. I absolutely love My Sims. I used to play it religiously on the GameCube. They're not the most interesting collection, so I'm not gonna put them in Motherload. I'm not gonna let nostalgia sway me that much. Omniscond artifacts. Obviously Obviously, these are part of Jungle Adventure. I really love Jungle Adventure. I think it's very interesting when it comes to the collections. I much prefer giving them back to the museum. I know I'm the English simmer, but that hits the nail on the head a bit too much for me. But again, I feel like they're super interesting collections. I will say, I think I find the artifacts actually more interesting than the treasures themselves. So these are going to go in Rosebud, and then the Omniscond treasures are going to go into Crumple Bottom. I just think they're a bit overpowered. The positivity posters going into Tragic Clown. Millie Bobby Brown is no longer in my game, and that to me is a travesty. Unlike with other timed events that we had in The Sims 4, you physically like cannot get these posters apart from going in debug and just buying them. I really like postcards. They originally came with The Sims 4 base game. You try and go through socializing, finding a pen pal. Once you actually write a couple of letters to your pen pals in certain locations, you can ask them to send you a postcard. Then you can put them up on your little postcard board. Not gonna lie, I kind of wish that you could like hover over them like you can with like the Werewolf Relics, and it would tell you like who they were from and kind of their stories. Your little pets in My First Pet Stuff, which I know it's complicated, can also go on little adventures and bring back postcards, and then the postcards can go on their little cages, which I think is so cute. But they are going to go in Rosebud for the fact that they don't have lore attached to them. I know this is a medal. It's meant to represent the ribbons that you can get in cottage living. Obviously, they have country fairs. They were super hard. I feel like the judges are literally so harsh. So I feel like it's going to take me an age to get these. Quite like the difficulty. It's just that they don't really stand out to me. Kind of feel like in the grand scheme of cottage living, which was a great pack and I absolutely loved it, the fairs kind of feel like a second thought. Seashells, absolutely bloody love them. If you have island living, get yourself to Sulani, find some seashells. These, for one, very good money makers. Two, you can also find the conch shell, which means that you can talk to a mermaid, which I think is sick. I really just love seashells, so this might be more personal preference. This actually stands for Simmies, which were introduced in Snowy Escape. Obviously, you can go to the vending machine, you can get your Sims gachas. I love these. I think Simmies are so much fun. I don't think they're iconic enough for me personally to be a motherload, but I do really like the designs of them, and I've basically completed this. I just need to find all of their golden variants. This stands for snow globes. These are kind of easier to come by for a city living collection rather than the posters, because I feel like a lot of the sellers at the flea market actually sell snow globes. However, I really like them because I just love having a little reminder, especially if you have like the headcanon that your sim maybe lived in one world before they moved to another world, and therefore they bought San Myshuno one if they then moved to like Evergreen Harbor. I kind of wish they were updated. I wish we had more snow globes in the game for like all of the worlds that were added purely for those storytelling. So they're also gonna go in Rosebud for me. The space prints, which you can actually get off the telescope, I don't think you can get these off the small telescope. Maybe they are, maybe I've just never had the luck of seeing one, so definitely feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Therefore, they're going in Crumple Bottom. I like them. They are big though. I know you can technically size them down. So yeah, you can't use design tool on them either. Oh my god, it has like eyes. That's sick actually. Maybe I should bump it up because they're actually a lot cooler than the plant prints. I'm sorry, space prints. I did you so dirty. Get up there. Space rocks. These are again something that you find if you either have your sim be an astronaut or if they just go to space in their rocket ship. There's only 4 of them, which I mean, they're sick, but with there's only being 4 of them, they're gonna go in Grim Reaper. I would like more. We have the Sugar Schools collection, which is part of the Day of the Dead event. However, this is again a collection that you can complete outside of that event, and you also maybe have to kill a sim so that you can get a ghost and also a gravestone with that ghost attached to it, and then you can present an offering to their gravestone. If they accept it, you'll get a notification that says like a Day of the Dead celebrant is wandering around your neighborhood. You have to try and find them, and then they will actually give you you a sugar skull. There are 9 of them to collect. Again, they come with their own cute little cabinet. I actually really love this collection. I loved it from the get-go, and they also tell a story rather than the eggs. Void critters, once again, going up into motherload. Only negative I have about void critters within the game is I wish they weren't only just tied to children. I wish that Sims of any age, teenagers, young adults, elders, could all play with void critters. There is actually a mod that unlocks that. There is also a Ravishing mod that actually allows you to play void critters on a tablet, which is way better than having that like kind of pretty big screen where you have to have another player playing with you. You can play online on the tablet. I wish we got less decorative void critter stuff and actually more physical stuff for the actual game itself. So there we have it. There's my tier ranking of all of these collections. I hope you enjoyed this video. Honestly, this is why I love recording these types of videos, because I feel like it genuinely is just me like nerding out over a game that I love. Like, I get to talk about The Sims. I've been recording this video for like 45 minutes. I want to see more collections. I would love a collection to be included in like every pack, because some of the most fun that I get out of my Sims 4 game. I will actually link this tier list down below, so if you want to rank them yourself, feel free to reply to me here if you disagreed with anything. Send them over to me on Twitter at EnglishSimmer if you do decide to do this tier list and your ranking is the same as mine, different from mine. I want to hear all of your reasonings. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to the Sims team for thinking about my sweet little collections. I feel like I did a pretty good job of talking about what they included, but I might have missed a few bits, so apologies if that was the case. It's been a while since I focused on a fair few of these. If there are any other tier ranking lists that you would like me to do that pertain to The Sims, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate you all, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.